One of my continued goals on this podcast is to provide topics to promote thought, not sway people one way or another. I never want to preach, but I have made some changes in my own life, and one of those is how I view alcohol and its place in my everyday. The Sober Curious movement is defined as having an option to question or change drinking habits to promote health and wellness benefits. And for some, that means questioning the role that alcohol plays in their lives. The term Sober Curious was coined by the author Ruby Warrington, who wrote a book on the topic in 2018. And since then, more people have started to embrace the idea of mindful drinking. The abundance of alcohol-free options on the market and sober-focused social media, apps, and podcasts all provide resources to normalize the idea of having a better relationship with alcohol. And today's guest made the choice to step away from her own Chardonnay habit and created a super engaging space on social media to introduce people to the idea that not drinking alcohol can be really fun and creative. You are going to love her authenticity, humor, and sense of community. Health, wellness, career, relationships, and everything in between. We're removing the taboo from what really matters in midlife. I'm your host, Michelle Folan, and this is Asking for a Friend. Welcome, everyone, to the show. Our guest today is someone I've been following for quite a while now. Deb Podlogar made the decision 2 years ago to make some life changes of her own. And as she went through the process, she leaned into her energy, passion, and enthusiasm. And you're going to see this today for what she was doing and wanted to share with others in order to reach people who also needed tools and support to be successful in their own journeys. Deb not only has amassed a huge social media following, but has gotten a lot of attention from the quickly growing alcohol-free beverage industry. Welcome, Deb Podlogar, also known as the Mocktail Mom.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here, Michelle.
I'm so excited you're here. We finally made this happen.
Yes.
Deb and I have been going back and forth for quite a while, I should say, to get this to happen. Thanks for being here.
I'm so glad we got it on the books. Seriously. Thank you.
I know a little bit about you, but I would love for you to share with the listeners where you're from, family, career, and all that good stuff.
I live right outside Louisville, Kentucky. I grew up outside Philly, the city of brotherly shove, as we call it. I have 2 sisters. I'm the middle of 3 girls. I grew up in a wonderful household. Both of my parents have since passed away. My dad was a pastor. My mom was a nurse, and just grew up in the most wholesome, loving, caring family that anybody could ever imagine. I mean, seriously, I'm so grateful. My sister and I just had lunch a couple weeks ago, and somebody was asking us, if you could change anything about your mom, what would you change? And we were both like, nothing, like absolutely nothing. Grew up in Philly and then have bounced all around, but ended up here in Kentucky. My background is in marketing and promotional products, is the business that I've been involved in since I was about 15 years old. I still do that. And then now, since I broke up with Chardonnay, I have started sharing mocktails and sharing non-alcoholic drinks on Instagram and TikTok, and have a private Facebook group for people if they want to learn a little bit more about what to drink when you're not drinking.
Awesome.
Sorry. I have 2 children who I love dearly, who I just forgot to mention. And I have a husband, Larry.
Oh, those people.
Yes, the people I live with. Well, my older daughter, she's in college. She's almost 21. And then I have a 15-year-old. So 2 girls. I am fortunate and blessed.
Oh, that's nice.
It's true.
But I want to back up.
Okay, back up.
You had me started a company at 15 and you're still doing it?
No, I've been involved in that industry since I was 15.
Okay.
I've been in the promotional products industry, but I probably started my first business, probably I was 17 or 18. I've been involved in it. Before I could drive a car, I started selling buttons and pens and mugs and magnets with your logo on it. I love that kind of stuff. All the tchotchkes, the trinkets and trash, all of it.
Oh.
It's the fun stuff, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's the fun stuff.
It is.
I do that for my full-time job.
You're super busy then. You're doing a lot. You got a lot on your plate. You have a story to tell that I think is super relatable Do you mind sharing
Sure.
how you broke up with Chardonnay, why you had to break up with Chardonnay?
I don't think I'm unusual in the sense that I'm 51. At this point in life, a lot of us women have gone through a lot of really hard things. I've gone through some really hard things. When my daughter, who's now 21, she's healthy. When she was 7, she got diagnosed with aplastic anemia, which is when your bone marrow completely fails. It's like the opposite of leukemia. You have no blood cells. She lived on blood transfusions for over a year. That happened, and she's healthy, and I'm so grateful she's healed. She was treated at the NIH, but now she's a junior in college and the picture of health. But that was very, very traumatic. And at the time, I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't sitting in the hospital with her thinking about alcohol. I wasn't thinking about wine. But after she got out of the hospital and some other really hard things happened, I went through a divorce about a year or so after she was in remission. I would say, I'm trying to think how long after that. I got breast cancer. There were a lot of really hard things. My mom passed away 3 weeks after my double mastectomy.
Oh, Lord.
And then 11 months after that, my dad passed away when he was out here visiting me. It was a combination of all those really hard things. Hannah was in the hospital and then going through my divorce, which there's no easy divorce. It's just horrible. We were married for 14 and a half years. It was awful. Yeah, just having the best parents and then to lose both of them. My mom passed away from dementia, which I know a lot of people our age are dealing with that with their parents.
Sure.
To see my mom, who had been a nurse, who was just the picture of just common sense and reason, to hear her say things, which there were things that she said that were very funny, but it was so tragic. I'd say, "Hi, Mom, how are you?" She'd say, "Semi." She'd say like the cutest things, but it was so sad because then she also didn't remember what a Tylenol was. Going through those hard things, I think like many of us do, I went from not caring about alcohol. I mean, wine would get dust in my house, would collect dust. I didn't drink it. I didn't care. I could take it or leave it. It became when my girls would go to their dad's house on the weekend or whatever, people would say, "Oh, we'll have a glass of wine," or "Meet us for a glass of wine." And it became, I would numb out. It would go from 1 glass to 2 to then 3. Then it was like, oh my gosh, well, the bottle's almost gone. I might as well just finish it.
Exactly.
It just set me in a path of doing that way more often than I ever wanted to. I just want to take the edges off, but then it became a lot more than taking the edges off.
That's a heavy load. You had a lot going on in your life at the time. But how many years passed of your quote-unquote wine habit till when you said, okay, enough's enough?
Yeah. It was about 9 years of all those things happening during that time. And I was approaching my 50th birthday. I was 49. And I just felt, I do not want to turn 50 and have the next decade be like this last decade has been. I don't want to numb out from the hard things of life, because in the process of numbing out from the hard things, I'm now numbing out from the joy. I'm numbing out from the good things. Because now I'm not even enjoying the good things going on, because I'm sitting there thinking, do I have wine at home? Do I need to stop and get wine? If I'm not drinking it, I was thinking about it. I was like, what is wrong with me? Just got to a point where I was like, this is too much.
And then there's how you feel the next day.
Oh, yeah. How you feel at 3 a.m. when you wake up and the room is spinning.
Oh, yeah.
And you wake up with a dry mouth. Honestly, Michelle, I thought I was the only one. I know that sounds crazy. Now that I'm on Instagram and I've met so many other women who are struggling with this or have gone through this, I literally thought I was the only Christian mom who was struggling with drinking too much, who was waking up at 3 a.m. thinking, oh my gosh, I did it again.
Yeah.
I did it again. Because at 5 o'clock, I had every intention of, I'm just going to have a glass of wine. I'm just going to have 1 glass. It would always end up, I shouldn't say always, but many times it ended up being a lot more.
Well, and we negotiate with ourselves in the morning.
That's true.
You wake up in the morning and you feel like hell and you say, all right, I'm not drinking today, or
Totally.
I'll just have 1 glass tonight. And then, like you said, you look in the refrigerator and the wine's almost gone. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I was off to the races. Yep.
Did you just go cold turkey? How did you go through this process?
When I decided to take a little break, I never intended to take such a long break. I feel like I'm still kind of on a break. I call myself sober. I say I'm sober, and I'm not ashamed of that. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't want somebody to say that because I thought they'll think I have a problem. In the beginning, I just wanted to moderate. I just wanted to drink less. That was my goal. But I felt so good. I felt so much better. I wanted to try to go 3 weeks without drinking anything. I was like, if I can do 3 weeks, then maybe I'll just be able to have a glass of wine and not have myself finish the bottle. But at the end of that time, I felt so much better. It was hard. It was really hard. I mean, really hard. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life is to stop drinking Chardonnay and wine. Pretty much any wine at that point. I didn't care. I was like, whatever.
We're programmed. There's the carbohydrate component. There is the habit, I don't want to call it euphoria because that sounds really bad.
Well, it's the buzz. Yeah, it's that 20 minutes of buzz.
It's like, ooh, I'm getting the bottle out. The endorphins that get going when you do pull the bottle out.
Absolutely.
How did you handle this socially?
I needed to find something else to drink to replace it. That's how this whole thing with mocktails got started. I needed to find some kind of alternative to have because the ritual of having a drink was there. Very first day of not drinking was December 31st, 2020. In beginning of 2021, it was still COVID sort of lockdown.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at a menu before I go out, seeing if they have any mocktails, seeing if there's any alternatives that I can ask them to make if I go there. Just planning ahead, deciding before I go, I'm not drinking, not negotiating, because that's what I used to do. It was, I'm not going to drink, but then I get there and okay, I'll just have one. But it was like, then I'd have 3. It's so true.
Yeah, it is true. That's why I'm laughing.
But I thought it was the only one. Anyway, yeah, just deciding before I go and then really planning. Okay, well then what am I drinking? If I'm going to somebody's house, like our neighbors, we had a Christmas get together, I brought non-alcoholic wine. Everybody brought their bottles of wine. I brought mine, and a couple people tried it. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Planning and bringing alternatives if you can, or seeing what's on the menu, or just specifically asking maybe them to make you a Moscow Mule without the alcohol in it. The first time I asked for a mocktail, I'll never forget, the waitress was like, we don't have those. And she goes, but I can make you a Shirley Temple.
Oh.
I was this close to saying to her, just get me a glass of Chardonnay. I think it was my first week or 2 of being alcohol free. I almost got derailed right there. It was almost all over. Deciding and planning ahead of what you would like to drink, what you're going to ask for.
Has your family been supportive from the beginning?
100%. I didn't tell anybody in the very beginning. I was very, very embarrassed that I was even struggling with drinking. Nobody knew that I was struggling with how much I was drinking. I don't think anybody realized how much I was drinking. But they've been very supportive, 100%. My 15-year-old, she'll do videos with me and make mocktails with me on Instagram. She'll do lives with me in my little Facebook group. They've been so supportive. My older daughter, my husband, absolutely my sisters have been very, very supportive.
That's great.
I'm so grateful.
You need that support because if your husband is pulling out a bottle of wine in the evening, it's like, hey, dude.
Yeah. And I think everybody's different. Some spouses continue to drink and you have to find that support in a community or somewhere else. But yeah, they've been so supportive. But in the beginning, I didn't tell anybody because I felt like if I tell my husband, if I tell my kids and tell my sisters, then when they see me drinking in 5 days, because I probably will be, that's what I thought, they're going to be like, see, we knew you couldn't do it. We knew all those wine tchotchkes you have and the wine tumblers and this and that. Like, we knew you're the wine mom. I didn't want to tell anybody because I was like, I didn't want to fail. I didn't want them to know if I failed. I actually didn't tell my husband until about 3 weeks in. It was that long.
Wow.
He's not a big drinker. He's like how I used to be. He could take it or leave it. He probably hasn't had a drink in 18 months.
Oh, wow.
He's accidentally sober. He could care less.
That's kind of nice, though. Takes some of the heat off.
That has definitely helped me. Yes, I will say that.
Did you enlist the help of a community or a group to help support you through this?
Yes, and I would definitely recommend for anybody who is sober curious or just wants to be more mindful or cut back or take a break, find a community. There are so many good communities because that connection that you make with other people in the group, it will make all the difference. I know for me, I felt seen. I felt like I'm not the only one. That was so enlightening to me. Find a group. There's so many. I had followed Sober Dave on Instagram for months and months before I stopped drinking. Find a community. There's tons of apps and stuff, but that made a big difference for sure.
How has that helped with some of the accountability?
For me, having other women, other people that I can reach out to who I can say, I am really having a hard day. I would really like to stop on the way home and grab a bottle of wine. To have a community of people that you can reach out to and say maybe what you wouldn't say to your husband. My husband would be totally supportive if I said that to him. It's not that he wouldn't. Mm-hmm. But to reach out to somebody who's walking that same exact road, that same journey, there's something about the power of their encouragement and support that I think is unmatched.
Actually, this came up last night in another interview with another podcast guest.
Okay.
We were talking about the power of community that women have. He was just amazed at how great women are at reaching out and being supportive and creating community. I see what you're saying. Just knowing that you're a phone call away from someone that would talk you off the ledge.
It makes all the difference because everything in society and all the marketing and the pushes, it's what moms do. It's what we as women do. We drink wine. It's glamorized so much. To go against that, to be able to have people that you can reach out to that understand makes all the difference. I definitely highly, highly recommend. I say don't go alone. You're going into the forest. Don't go alone.
Exactly. We'll be right back after this quick break. There are many wonderful things about midlife to celebrate, but vaginal dryness is not on that list. Add relief to your routine like I did with Reverie from Bonafide Health. Reverie is naturally powered with hyaluronic acid and scientifically validated to rejuvenate vaginal tissue and replenish moisture. No mess, no stress. Go to hellobonafide.com and use code AFAF25 at checkout to receive 25% off your subscription for any of Bonafide's sexual health and wellness products. You deserve lasting comfort, so check out Reverie at hellobonafide.com. Welcome back to the show. You have chosen sobriety. At what point did starting Mocktail Mom become an idea?
I stopped drinking December 31st, 2020, and then on January 9th, 2021, so about, 10 days in, I started Mocktail.mom, my Instagram account, Mocktail Mom, but it's Mocktail.mom is my Instagram handle, whatever. First of all, I had extra time on my hands. I wasn't buzzed in the evenings. What am I going to do with myself? I don't want to do puzzles. I'm not a puzzle girl. I was like, what can I drink when I'm not drinking? I wanted to find alcohol-free drinks, so I went to Total Wine, and it was horrible because I had to walk past all the alcohol to get to the very back of the store.
Be like torture.
It was, because I'm not kidding. It was like I could smell the wine. I could smell the Cabernet. I was like, oh, calling my name. I wanted to fall down on the floor and flail around like a 3-year-old and scream and yell and be like, do you miss me? I miss you. Do you miss me? That's how I felt. I truly felt that way. I started experimenting with alcohol-free drinks. I bought a bunch of stuff, and I just thought, what's a way that I can share what I'm finding and share my struggles of, I really want to just pour a glass of wine right now.
Absolutely.
So that was how I started my Instagram account. I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't tell my family. I'll never forget, though, on one of my very first posts, my account was public, but I had tagged the city that I live in or whatever, and one of my neighbors was like one of my early followers, and I was horrified. I was, oh my gosh, Jen is going to know that I have a problem with alcohol. I was so embarrassed.
Oh, no. Did you ever talk to her?
Yes, I told her how embarrassed I was. Yes.
And what did she say?
Oh, she was nice about it. She didn't even care, but in my mind, it was, oh my gosh, if I'm not drinking, then people are going to think I've had this massive rock bottom, something horrible's happened. I'm just sick of feeling like garbage. I just want to feel better. I just want the next decade of my life to look really different. I don't want to be zoned out, numbed out. That was how I started Mocktail Mom, was just sharing drinks online. Just making drinks, trying things.
And you're super engaging.
Thank you.
I'm not sure at what point I started following you, but I think probably because I search for those types of things.
Yeah.
I think you kind of just fell into my lap that way. Is it like Monday nights you do live mocktail?
I do. I started it in June, I think, of that year. So June of 2021, I started doing on Monday nights called Making Friends and Mocktails, because I love to make friends. That's the only, well, I do collect other stuff, but I love to make friends and collect friends. And I wanted to make new mocktails. I started doing a Monday night live. It's about a half hour where I just have somebody come on live with me. Maybe there's somebody who's sober curious, or they're in the sober Graham community. I've had the authors of Mocktail Party on. Both of those gals came on and did a night with me separately. It's a great recipe book. There's that. I've had brands come on and do mocktails with me. That has been so much fun to do. I love doing the lives. It's a lot of fun. We make a drink and we just chit-chat about sober life or sober curiosity.
How often do you post a week?
I don't know. Somebody asked me, what do you do when you don't want to post? When you don't feel like posting? Well, then I don't post.
Exactly.
I don't have any social media manager. I don't have anybody helping me with that stuff. When I'm able to, I do post stuff. I try to post every day. It doesn't happen. Every other day, maybe.
What have you learned along the way?
About posting?
Because basically you're starting an online business in a lot of ways.
Yep. The thing that has been wonderful is the Sober Graham community is so supportive. I mean, it's like this last little bit of the internet that's untouched, untainted. It doesn't matter who somebody is or whatever their politics are. People are just encouraging and supportive. That's been one of the biggest surprises, I guess. I don't know, what I've learned is just, wow, people can be so encouraging in the sober community. It's wonderful.
If there is someone out there that maybe not in the sober curious movement, but somebody that wants to start something similar or start an online presence.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips or advice for people?
I say just start posting and be real. Forget all the filters. Just be yourself. I mean, yes, I do trends every once in a while and they're fun, but just be yourself. That's my experience, at least. That's who I like to follow. I like to follow people who are just real and share themselves. Instead of trying to create content, just share a little bit about your life. For me, I just share the drinks I'm making. I try to keep it fun. You got to engage people.
Well, you're naturally very funny and engaging.
Thank you.
You're easy to follow. Speaking of follow, you have over 14,000 followers.
On Instagram, which is crazy.
That's huge. How many do you have on Facebook?
I'm not sure. Facebook, I have a private group on Facebook. So I have a private, I think there's like 1,400 people in our private group. And then TikTok is crazy. I mean, I don't know. Are you on TikTok?
No, I haven't done TikTok yet.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's crazy town over there.
Is it really?
It is. I will say, though, people are not as nice. You better have some thick skin because they will just say things. Yeah, I made a video about reverse aging. When you stop drinking, that your skin will look better and stuff. While I was out walking my dog, I made this video. And it's gotten, I don't know, 500,000 views or something. But people are like, you don't look 50, you look 65. Like, people are rude. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know what? I really don't care, actually. And then there's other people like say nice things or whatever. I really don't care. Let's just say I looked 75 when I was drinking. What I was saying is it's reverse aging, people. TikTok's a lot of fun.
That does bring up another question. Now that you brought that up about the reverse aging, I didn't know you before. Do you feel like your skin looks better?
My mom had wonderful skin, so I definitely have good genes, and I use Arbonne, which I've used for 20 years. Those two things help. But yes, I am definitely like, my skin is more hydrated. My skin looks better for sure. But no, I don't think I've like reversed 20 years off my life since I stopped drinking. I do know people who really, I mean, they look years and years younger when they stop drinking.
I think there's also the insides.
Yeah, and the inflammation. I'm not as puffy.
For sure. Did you lose weight?
I wish I did. No. No, because especially in the very beginning, I just replaced my alcohol with candy. I'm not a sugar person at all. Could care less about sugar, really. But when I stopped drinking, I mean, if it was not nailed down, it was like Easter candy, Halloween candy, Christmas, old candy, whatever I could find, I was eating. I think like a lot of people, they kind of get the sugar cravings.
I think that is the initial response.
Yes, your body.
You got to replace that carbohydrate with something.
Yeah.
What I find now is if I go out to dinner and I don't have an alcoholic beverage, guess what I'm doing? I'm having dessert.
Having dessert. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my treat.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good.
Heck yeah. So you built this following. What do you hear from followers now? Do you hear success stories from them?
Oh, yeah. Actually, just yesterday, I think I posted in my story, a gal messaged me with what she had gotten done between the time she woke up to 9:30 in the morning. And it was, she'd done like all these things she'd gotten accomplished because she's on day 39 of not drinking. And how much better she feels. And by 9:30 in the morning, she'd already accomplished what she used to in a whole day because she's waking up with energy. She's waking up feeling good, clear mind. I love getting messages in my DMs asking about recommendations for drinks or that they're doing it or that they're back doing it. They're back to day one. I mean, I want to be an encouragement for people wherever they're at. I have no judgment. Somebody wants to moderate or they want to drink less or not drink at all. I want to encourage them. I love getting messages.
How does that make you feel when you know that you're being part of someone's journey like that?
Yeah, it's very moving. I mean, because if people knew, and I try to express how much I struggled, if you knew that 2 years ago I was dragging around a U-Haul of shame everywhere I went every day because I felt so bad about how much I drank the night before, that now I can be an encouragement to somebody and be just a support, it means everything. Everything. I'm grateful because God has truly used the thing that I was most ashamed of And he has turned it around and allowed it now to be something that I can encourage others, that there's hope, that there's hope. You don't have to live like that anymore. If I can break up with Chardonnay, I mean, really, anybody can. Anybody can. There's hope for every mom out there.
You continue to grow this venture of yours. What's next?
What's next? What I'm going to do is switch my Monday night lives, take the time that I've been doing those, my Monday night making friends and mocktails, and I'm going to start a podcast where I just want to be able to reach more people and share with them the fun is not over if you're not drinking, and that there are delicious things to drink. I want to be able to reach more people, and I feel like by doing that through a podcast, and then I'll be able to repurpose the content for Instagram and TikTok and stuff. Also, a Mocktail Mom membership is launching in January. You know, there's like hair club for men. We're going to have a drinking club for women. And it's just going to be a place where women can come in and learn about non-alcoholic drinks, meet other women who are either sober curious or just want to make mocktails together. And we'll have live events in there. We'll have brands come in and share stuff with us about their brands. Like a little drinking club, but non-alcoholic.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Will you do that over a Zoom type of thing?
Yeah, there'll be different events over Zoom and stuff where people can connect.
Oh, I love that. I don't know if it's just me because I'm in that space right now, but the non-alcoholic beverage market industry is booming.
Booming. Booming.
Beyond belief. For people that are on the fence and don't know what they would drink if they weren't drinking alcohol, the options are pretty much endless.
Endless. Endless. You can make pretty much any drink, any cocktail. I wasn't a cocktail drinker before I broke up with alcohol. You can get wines now that actually taste like wine. They don't just taste like grape juice in a wine bottle. There's tons of non-alcoholic wines that are good. We'll do wine tastings in our membership. You can make so many non-alcoholic cocktails that exactly mimic a cocktail you would get in a bar or a restaurant, but have no alcohol in them. Or I should say have a lot of them have like 0.05%, but they're considered non-alcoholic at that level.
Correct. I was in Boston.
Uh-huh.
I was with a work colleague, and I asked the bartender, I said, hey, do you have a non-alcoholic beer that's any good? And he said, I have an awesome non-alcoholic beer. And
what was it?
It was Athletic.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And I said, well, I've never heard awesome and non-alcoholic used in the same sentence. I said, I'm very intrigued.
Great.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Isn't it good?
It's
so good.
Awesome.
You would not know there's no alcohol in it, correct?
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
My colleague, I said, hey, Matt, you want to try this?
Uh-huh.
He's like, no, that I bet that's gross. I said, try it. He was amazed.
Yeah.
Come to find out, they sell it here in town, which I was excited about.
Good.
Then last week, I was at the Florida Ironman with my husband. He had a booth there, and the Athletic brewing people were 2 booths down.
Oh, that's great.
I got to try some of their other flavors as well. I'm not paid, and this is not sponsored in any way, but I'll tell you what a great alternative. And I'm not a huge beer drinker, but it gives me a great option.
They are fantastic. Absolutely.
When you are sitting down and if someone said, Deb, what's your favorite mocktail?
Okay, this is going to sound... I probably always go back to a spicy alcohol-free margarita because that was one of the very first drinks that really just made me like, okay, if I could drink this, why would I drink alcohol? It tasted so good. Add a little bit of jalapeno juice. Take a little bit of the juice out of the jar. Maybe if you have a jar of jalapenos in your refrigerator or whatever, take a little bit of juice out of it, put it in your margarita, and it'll spice it. I mean, it gives it that bite that I missed from my wine. I like the bite. Probably a spicy alcohol-free margarita. I don't know. I'm so boring.
We all get into our groove, our little habits.
Yeah, you'll go to the restaurant, you order the same thing. You know, if I really had to only have one ever again, it'd probably be that one. There's so many good drinks. I have a free ebook. If people want to download it on mocktailmom.com, they can grab that. And it has some promo codes in there. And then I also have some recipes in there too.
I will put stuff in the show notes. We'll put maybe your favorite recipe.
Perfect. Okay.
We'll put your link for your ebook.
Oh, good.
We'll put the link for your Instagram. All of that we'll put in the show notes.
Okay.
I want to say, too, one of my favorite non-alcoholic options is I think it's Navy Hill, makes a soda tonic mixer with a juniper flavor to it.
Oh.
And I take that, pour it over ice, put a good squeeze of lime in there, and it almost tastes like a gin and tonic.
Oh, nice.
Because I used to like gin and tonics in the summer. It's really, really good. And
Oh, that's awesome.
the tonic gives it a little bit of a bite, dryness, like alcohol would.
Yep.
I could talk this kind of stuff all night.
There's many good options. I just want people to know that whether you like a mule or a gin and tonic, there's many good non-alcoholic options. You're not left with nothing to drink just because you're not drinking. It's not a world of O'Doul's and Shirley Temple. Like you said, the Athletic is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. Tomorrow night, I am going to a friend's house.
Okay.
And I'll bring my own, like you do.
Uh-huh.
My friends have gotten used to me
Yeah.
doing that now, and I'll even bring a couple extra for people to try because I think it's good to share so they understand what the heck I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's been important to me to have their support. At first, I would get questions like, why aren't you drinking?
Yep.
Or, what are you drinking? What's in your tumbler?
Yep.
I'd say just some soda and tonic and a squeeze of lime. Now, I'm not getting those questions as much, and I am starting to have more of my friends say, oh, I know I need to cut back too.
Interesting.
I think that's good to hear that
Yeah.
they're not judging me for what I'm doing, and now starting to see that there is some benefits maybe to
Yeah.
making some lifestyle adjustments.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't judge anyone.
Same.
If you want to drink your beer, drink your wine, you go ahead.
You go. You do you. No problem. But yeah, it's funny. Why is it? I mean, if you go to a party and you say, oh, I can't eat that muffin, I'm gluten-free, or, oh, I can't have that, whatever, I'm dairy-free. Nobody says a word. But if you say I'm not drinking, it's like, why? Why? Why aren't you drinking? They want to know. What's the problem? I'm just not drinking tonight, whether it's tonight or for whatever. It's a funny thing, isn't it?
It is.
And I know I was the same way. I was the same way 5 years ago. I'd be like, why aren't you drinking? What do you mean? Here, have a drink.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't use the I'm pregnant excuse anymore.
Yeah, I certainly can't. I'm far through menopause.
Yeah, you and me both.
It's not happening.
Need to find some other excuse as to why
I'm on antibiotics.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm on Flagyl.
The medicine I'm taking, I can't have any alcohol.
Yeah, it'll make me sick. Oh, Lord. If there is someone listening today and they're on the fence, they're maybe wanting to take a break from alcohol or maybe do the leap into sobriety, what words of encouragement or advice would you share?
I would just say that you don't have to decide forever. You don't have to say, I'm never going to drink again. I think that really held me back for a while. I felt like if I stopped drinking, then I'd have to say I was something. You don't have to declare anything. You can just take a little break, take your foot off the gas of your drinking, and see how you feel. Just see how you feel. Just be curious about how you're feeling and find a community or find people to follow who are in the sober community so that you can be encouraged that there are very normal people who have just broken up with alcohol and have found a better way to live. And if we can do it, anyone can do it. If I can stop drinking, there's hope for every mom out there.
I would tell someone that if you just give it a few weeks, the first thing you're going to notice is, I didn't wake up at 3 a.m. Now, you may have had to get up to go to the bathroom.
Sure, at our age, yes, of course, yes, that's not going to stop. Yes. Yeah, but you won't feel terrible when you're waking up.
And I can fall back to sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas in the old days, I couldn't fall back to sleep.
That's true. It'd be like 5 o'clock in the morning, finally fall back asleep maybe for an hour or two. Mm-hmm. That's very true.
In the instance where I do have cocktails or something like that, the next day I'm like, I know exactly why I don't do this on a regular basis.
Yeah, you feel it.
Because I feel like poop.
Yeah, I think just see how you feel. And don't feel like you have to say, I'm never ever going to have a drink again. Just see how you feel. Take it one day at a time. The only way I've gotten here is just, today I'm not drinking. Today I'm not drinking. That's what it's been. It's just added up. It's one day at a time. It's just added up.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah, of course. You're welcome.
Finally, how can we find you?
I am on Instagram. My Instagram is mocktail.mom. My website is mocktailmom.com. And then I'm on TikTok as well, mocktail.mom over there. In December, I'm going to have a free mocktail event. It'll be on my website. People can sign up and come in and make over Zoom about 2 mocktails with me, something perfect for the holidays. And then in January, Mocktail Mom membership will launch and the podcast.
I love that. And you know what? If you have a non-alcoholic cocktail recipe to offer your guests, you'll be surprised at how many people will want to try it.
Absolutely. And maybe they have a regular cocktail and then they have a mocktail just to maybe drink less.
Love it. Deb, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, this was awesome.
Really great to meet you. Thank you.
Really glad we finally got to make this happen. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Follow Asking for a Friend on social media outlets and provide a review and share this show wherever you get your podcasts. Reviews and sharing help us grow.